2 weeks ago, I posted a video about red flags at Turning Point USA. Among the many things I mentioned, Turning Point was missing 3 of the 4 990 forms for their shell companies. Well, guess what? The missing forms have mysteriously been posted, and they are marked that they were filed on May 15th, 2025. So they are claiming that they filed 4 forms, the IRS posted one, held on to the other 3, and for some reason posted them 6 months later when people started talking about it online. Isn't that convenient? But we're not going to dwell on it, because the more important thing is that now we have the missing financials. And you're not going to believe this. It gets even worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, Turning Point USA has some explaining to do. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ty Smith. You're watching my channel, Model Renaissance Man, which I'm greatly appreciative of. Make sure you guys are following me up here, follow me down here. Click this, it helps me. Thank you. If and when you do subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification. That way, when you press it, you will be notified whenever I post a video. Lastly, do not forget to check out my other channel called Man, Husband, Father. I'm going to get right to this, guys, because I really need y'all to pay attention to this. Now, I'm just keeping it 100% real. Those of you that have been with my channel and rocking with me for a long time, you know that I'm the type of person to where I don't care whether you're for the left or the right, if you gay, if you straight, I don't care. What I do care about is getting to the truth. Now, I had someone reach out to me. I'm just going to call her Mama Don. We know who you are. That sent me some very, very, very interesting information along with a video, right? This video that came to me, I watched it, and there are some questions that I have. I sent this video to Candace Owens. I sent it to Brandon Tatum. I sent it to a whole lot of people, and I just want them to watch it with just being neutral. And there was a response, and I think that Candace actually might be going live and doing some things on this video. This is pre-recorded, what y'all watching right now, so she might already be jumping on this and going at it. But ladies and gentlemen, before I even posted the video, I reached out to the content creator, which I'm going to shout him out. Wolves and Finance is the reason why this video was here. I reached out to him, emailed him. As you can see, my voice is getting better. I emailed him. He responded back and said, I can go ahead and use this video. So this right here just leaves me with questions. And again, whether you like Candace or not, that's on you. Whether you like me or not, that's on you. Whether you like Charlie Kirk or not, that was on you. Whether you like anybody in these YouTube spaces, is not going to keep me from doing what I'm doing, because a lot of y'all got pissed off when I did a video showing some things that Candace was showing, and up to the extent to where y'all unsubscribe to the channel. And I know I've been saying that for some time, but look, guys, y'all know me. Those of you that know me know that I don't do this for numbers. If I did this for numbers, I would be probably at 2 million subscribers right now if I really want to play the game and do this. But y'all know I'm somebody I'm strong with what I do. I'm strong with what I do, right? And what I mean by that is I don't care about the numbers, but I can show you guys that over the course of some days, I've lost like some subscribers ever since I posted that Candace Owens video, right? And I'm gonna show you guys right here real quick before I get into this. With God dang what I'm talking about. I know it's gonna be this huge, but look at this right here, right there. Minus 500 subscribers, which is 1.3 thousand less than what I usually get a month. So I'm averaging 1,000 subscribers basically a month. But I lost over 500 subscribers ever since I showed a video about Candace Owens showing some questions. Now, you unsubscribing from my channel, that's your prerogative. That's very fine. Hey, that's completely fine with me. I will show videos of anybody, anyone. I will interview anyone that you may dislike. I don't do it for the reasons of pleasing you per se. I do it to get information. I do it to get to the bottom of things. I do it to get to the truth. So all I'm saying right now, brace yourselves for this information that you guys are about to see. And again, shout out to Wolves and Finance for making this video. Without further ado, you've been warned. Check it out.
In the 990 forms, you can go to page 8, and each organization must list out their highest paid independent contractors. What is curious is that on the FY24 form for America's Turning Point, Tyler Boyer lists himself as an independent contractor, and he puts his personal home address. Now, I'm not doxing anyone here because it is public information on the IRS form. And I have to tell people, please do not go to Tyler Boyer's house. That is not appropriate. But I will say, if you go look up his residence on Google Maps, you will see that he lives in a massive mansion. Now, I'm not going to show his home out of respect, but you can go see it for yourself. It is mind-blowing. Where is Tyler Boyer getting all this money? But what is even more important is if you go to the other shell company, Turning Point Action, in FY 2024, their number one independent contractor is a company called 110 LLC. In fact, this has been one of their largest contractors for the last 3 years. These are all the payments, and they total $1,456,261 over the last 3 years. That's almost $1.5 million. The description they provide is social, digital media, ad placement. Now, there is also an address for this company. So I thought, let's take a trip and go check this company out. If Turning Point is paying them $1.5 million, they must be doing something really great.
I am on location in Queen Creek, Arizona. And if you don't know, Queen Creek is a suburb of Phoenix. So I'm at the address that was listed on the 990 form. And this is strange. This is a strip mall. So I'm going to get out. I'm going to take a walk around and see if I can find the business 110 LLC. Okay. I've walked past all the suites. I've checked all the doors. The business 110 LLC, as far as I can tell, is not here. What is going on? So Turning Point is putting on their IRS form that they are sending $1.5 million to this parking lot. Well, I'm sitting here in the parking lot. The business is not here as far as I can tell. What is going on? I mean, maybe they didn't think that anyone was going to actually drive out here and check it out. But as far as I can tell, the business is not here. So my question is, do the Turning Point donors know this is how their money is being spent? That Turning Point is writing on their IRS forms that they're sending $1.5 million to this parking lot.
I did some additional checking. Another thing that is strange is that there is no website for 110 LLC. How do you run a business without a website? That's pretty strange. And I thought, maybe they moved. Maybe there's a different location. But if you look it up on Google Maps, there is no location for 110 LLC. So there's no website, there's no location. Does this company actually exist? Well, we do have records that it is owned by someone named Jake Hoffman, who is actually the former communications director for Turning Point USA. He is now a Republican state senator in Arizona. Now, just to give you some context, Jake Hoffman is a really powerful person in Arizona, which may be why no one has talked about this before. In his financial disclosure statement, he lists that he is the owner of 110 LLC at the same address in Queen Creek. What is also curious is that on the financial disclosure form, he lists out 8 different businesses that are all operating out of that same strip mall. But what is even more strange is that on the financial disclosure form, he actually lists out the suite numbers. He claims that he is operating his business out of suites 105 to 503. Excuse me? That is every suite in the strip mall. How does that make sense? Is he operating out of the grocery store? Is he operating out of Panda Express? Is he operating his business out of the pet dental clinic? Now, if you watch my channel, you can tell that I'm a conservative. But I do not have a problem calling out a Republican if I see something that looks shady. And this is all allegedly. I don't know if anything illegal is happening for sure. Maybe there is an innocent explanation for all of this. I have never met Jake Hoffman, so I cannot speak to whether he's an ethical person or not. All I can speak to is what these people are writing in their financial forms. You have to admit that it looks pretty strange. It looks like Turning Point is sending $1.5 million to a parking lot to get picked up by a politician.
If you remember, Baker Tilly is the accounting firm that did the annual financial audit. So they're the ones that signed off on Turning Point. They gave it a clean audit. They said there's no problems at Turning Point. Well, Baker Tilly, did you look at the largest contract? They're supposed to do an audit procedure to make sure that it's an actual company. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, I am interrupting this video right now because we are back around to that time again, and I know it has flown. This is the time where I do my thing every single year, my annual Christmas for Kids, where you who are the watchers right now can donate and be able to help children who are less fortunate this year have a good Christmas. We had a huge turnout last year, and I'm looking forward to having a huge turnout this year. And the way that you can donate is by going to PayPal right up there, or you can donate through Cash App, and these proceeds are going strictly all to children who are less fortunate this Christmas. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it, and guys, it's right around the corner. To all of you that are going to be giving, thank you and God bless you. Looking forward to this.
I'm sitting here in the parking lot. I'm looking around and I don't see a company called 110 LLC. So Baker Tilly, I want to know the specific audit procedure that you did to ensure that this was a legitimate company and not an illegal payment to a politician.
In a few weeks, Turning Point is hosting their biggest event of the year, America Fest. All of your favorite content creators will be showing up in Phoenix, Arizona to give speeches. I wonder if any of these people have a problem with Turning Point sending $1.5 million to a parking lot. Are any of them going to address in their speech any of the financial concerns at Turning Point? Patrick Bet-David has one of the largest business podcasts in the world, and he has been a major contributor to America Fest. He is the business guy. Can he explain this to us? I would like to hear Patrick Bet-David give us some kind of business scenario which explains why Turning Point would send $1.5 million to a parking lot. Now, I've noticed a lot of comments suggesting that it is inappropriate for me to criticize the finances of Turning Point USA. Let me explain this for people who may not understand. Turning Point receives a tax subsidy. That is what a 501c3 is. You are paying more in taxes so that Turning Point is tax exempt. And in general, this is a good thing because we want nonprofits out in the world doing good things. So we give them this tax benefit. But if Turning Point is not doing good in the world, if they have problems in their financials, if their tax forms are missing, maybe they should not get tax exempt status. The rich and powerful people who run Turning Point are raising hundreds of millions of dollars and they don't have to pay tax on any of it because you watching this video are footing the bill. So every American has the right to ask questions about Turning Point's financials. If you think they look shady, you are absolutely justified in demanding answers. The other thing I mentioned in my last video was the missing $8.6 million that was transferred from Turning Point USA to America's Turning Point. Now we have the finances so we can see how that money was spent. Just to recap, there are 4 shell companies. Turning Point USA is the main one. Then we have Turning Point Action, America's Turning Point, and Turning Point Endowment. Just as a reminder, Tyler Boyer is the only paid executive listed for America's Turning Point. Charlie Kirk is not even listed. So it seems strange to me that in FY24, $8.6 million mysteriously got transferred out of the main company into the shell company managed by Tyler Boyer. When we look at how this money was actually spent, it went mainly to salaries. And in the last video, I mentioned the possibility of ghost employees. This is when an organization pays people, records it as salary expense when those people do not actually work for the business. So I want to drill down into this idea further. Now, I have to admit that salary information can be notoriously hard to analyze because people are constantly coming and going from an organization. For instance, You could get a bunch of people hired in the last month of the year. Those kind of timing issues can cause strange fluctuations in your expenses, but you would expect the overall trends to make sense. You would expect the numbers to be within a certain range that is realistic. For America's Turning Point in FY24, we see that for the first time, they report 24 employees. This number is reported on a calendar year, and the expenses are reported on a fiscal year ending on 6/30. So let's stagger these out. If their 990 forms are correct, and they had 0 employees in calendar year 2022, that means that the entire salary expense for FY23 was related to the first 6 months of calendar year 2023. They spent $3.7 million in 6 months on salaries. In my opinion, these numbers are a bunch of baloney. The math does not work. Let's use the most favorable assumptions for America's Turning Point and assume that this expense was spread out across the largest number of employees. If we assume that 24 employees were hired on January 1st and worked for 6 months, that means that the average annual salary of those 24 employees was around $300,000. That's a lot of money. That is every employee at America's Turning Point. It could be the secretary. I would like to know what that secretary is doing that they get a salary of $300,000. I would like to ask the other employees at the other shell companies at Turning Point. Are you all making $300,000 a year? Because according to the financials, somebody is. Now, we don't know this for sure, these are just assumptions, but I am telling you that this is catching my eye as a red flag because these are astounding numbers for a nonprofit. $8.6 million mysteriously gets transferred into the shell company managed by Tyler Boyer, and it is spent on this massively inflated salary expense. Again, maybe there is some kind of innocent explanation for this, but at some point, we're going to need a lot of explanations. One of the board members for Turning Point is a guy named Tom Sedeka. Ironically, Tom Sedeka was the president and CEO of a payroll company. This is from a press release on the NASDAQ website. From 2003 to 2020, he ran Precision Payroll of America, where he turned that company into a leader in the complex, highly regulated world of human resources and payroll processing. So let's ask the payroll guy. Tom Sedeka, do you see anything strange with these payroll numbers? Now, to understand the full picture, it's not just about where the money was going to, it's also where the money was coming from. When I was going through all the new financial information, I saw this chart, and immediately, I had a good idea of what was going on. This shows revenue going into Turning Point Action, and you can see a gigantic leap in revenues for FY24. It went from $10.7 million to $27.2 million. That is over a 150% increase in 1 year, an extraordinary achievement for a nonprofit. What is even more curious is when you put this chart side by side with Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA shows a 4% increase. Remember that Turning Point USA is the main organization with Charlie Kirk as president. Charlie Kirk works a lot less on Turning Point Action, and Tyler Boyer is the COO. Do you see what is happening? For some reason, in FY24, Turning Point got a ton of new donors. But these new donors went around Charlie Kirk and into the organization where Tyler Boyer was the COO. It's almost like they did not want Charlie Kirk to know about it. Now, we don't know who these mysterious new donors are, but it looks like someone was trying to take over MAGA and they were doing it behind Charlie Kirk's back. The timing of all of this is very important. FY24 represents the 12 months ending June 30th, 2024. Remember what was happening at this time. This period lines up almost exactly with the Republican primary for the 2024 presidential election. January 15th, 2024, Trump wins the Iowa caucuses with 51% of the vote. March 5th, 2024, on Super Tuesday, Trump wins 14 of 15 Republican contests, and on the following day, Nikki Haley drops out of the race. May 30th, 2024, Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts in New York, and it did nothing to reduce his popularity. So in FY24, it was becoming obvious that Donald Trump was the frontrunner in the presidential race. When Nikki Haley dropped out, you had all these rich and powerful donors who no longer had any influence over the Republican Party. These donors had to come up with some new way to infiltrate MAGA. I think they went to Tyler Boyer. You also have to remember how busy Charlie Kirk was at this time. He was racing all over the country trying to get Donald Trump elected. So if someone at Turning Point was working behind his back to steal money from the company, this would have been a really easy time to do that. But the problem with stealing is you can only get away with it for so long. Along comes the FY24 financial audit. We know from the audit letter that it was concluded on June 20th, 2025, a few months before Charlie Kirk was murdered. If someone was trying to hide financial information from Charlie Kirk, they probably could have gotten away with it until June 2025. Because what happens at the end of an audit is you review all the financial information. So imagine this. A few months before Charlie Kirk's murder, he's sitting at his desk. He's looking at all the FY24 financials side by side, and he starts to notice some things that are funny. I think Charlie Kirk started asking questions, and I also believe this is what prompted the memo that he wrote 8 days before he was murdered. In the memo, he appointed a new COO for Turning Point USA and requested a Doge-style audit. Now, for legal reasons, I have to say that I do not have any evidence of a crime. We would need an investigation of the books at Turning Point to know for sure. What I am saying is that there are red flags in the financials at Turning Point and a lot of questions that need to be answered. The Attorney General of Arizona is Chris Mays. She has jurisdiction over the situation. Chris Mays is most well known for trying to arrest the Trump electors in Arizona. That case fizzled out and did not go anywhere. But I have to wonder, is Chris Mays going to look into this? I am limited in what I can research because I don't have access to Turning Point's financials, but the Attorney General has the authority to go in, look at their books, and start throwing people in jail. She is responsible for looking after the people of Arizona. Does it bother her that we have a state senator that is allegedly lying on his financial disclosure statement? Is she concerned that Turning Point is writing on their IRS form that they are sending $1.5 million to a parking lot? If she does not look into this, I would be concerned that she is in on the scam. If you watch my channel, you know that I am a huge fan of Charlie Kirk, and it destroyed me when he was murdered. I want to remind you of a post that he made on X.com. He posted a video of James O'Keefe speaking at last year's America Fest. Charlie Kirk wanted us to hear these words.
Telling the truth in times of universal deceit is a revolutionary act. It's hard. It's difficult. Even as we enter this new era, it will be difficult. And that's why the people who do that, the few, the very few, are so inspirational to us. Because they do it at great personal cost. And in the beginning of a fight, a charge, the patriot is a brave but rare man. But when his cause succeeds, the timid then join him. For at that point, it doesn't cost as much to do what he does. So in the beginning, we have these brave people that act as a catalyst for everybody else.
Charlie Kirk wanted everyone to search for the truth. If someone at Turning Point betrayed Charlie Kirk and is stealing money from the organization, we should find out who that is. And we should do it for Charlie Kirk.
What do you say? What do you say? Is he lying? This is the type of thing that just gets me, folks. The man drove to the spots. The man showed you in real time. Something is not right. Something does not add up. And I'm telling y'all right now, when stuff like this happens, let me calm down. Just getting my voice back. Take time to hit the thumbs up button real quick while I clear up the stuff that's bothering my vocal cords. All right. I'm not ready yet but y'all know how I want to get. When stuff like this happens, it makes me question everything. And those of you that have been with my channel for a while know that I'm like this. I told y'all, the minute people tell these little small lies, it makes me question everything. Everything. So I'm going to send this video to Turning Point USA and see what's up with that. And then on top of that, I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to be trying to figure out if what we had planned may go through, because I just have questions. And when I'm unsure about something, I don't make any decisions. So Turning Point USA, I'm just telling y'all straight up, I'm somebody that's how I am. If I don't know about something, I don't do it. The conversation I had with him myself when he came to ISU, was about to jump on board and do some things, right? Stuff just don't rub me the right way right now. I don't have no problem with Turning Point USA per se, or what they've been doing, what their mission is, or anything like that. But when it comes to stuff like what I just showed y'all, I don't make any moves when I'm unsure, is all I'm saying. So we might have to do some talking off to the side. That's all I'm saying. With that in mind, to my viewing audience, what do y'all think about this? Leave it in the comments below after this video, and make sure y'all go over there and follow Wolves and Finance at his channel. He does a lot of good videos over there as well that I've been seeing, and let him know that I sent you when you go to one of his videos and comment. All right, let me know what y'all thoughts are by putting in the comments below after this video. Don't forget to do what you see in the animation right here. That would greatly help my channel. The next video that I'm going to be doing after this one is going to be up there. Things I did as of yesterday, you may have missed right here. Yeah, 500 gone, but hey, if you want to jump on board, click that button right there. I am Ty Smith, model Renaissance man, and I hope and pray every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, praying every last one of you guys in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.